Welcome everybody to another episode of It Came From Marketplace, where I review motorcycle listings, great and cursed alike. Producer Logan has come through once again with an incredible image. We have what appears to be Mark Zuckerberg and Joe Rogan in their podcasting love affair, but Joe Rogan is now sporting an AGV helmet. Love the Slime Time, R.L. Stine, It Came From typography right there. Let's kick it off, shall we? First up, we have a 2009 Ducati Monster for $5,000. Decent price for a Monster. Selling my 2009 matte green Ducati Monster 1100cc. All maintenance has been kept up to date and well maintained. Bike kept inside for storage. Custom titanium track exhaust and tuned by Austin Racing. Bike sounds and performs amazing, has a nice choppy sound. Aside from that, just needs to install the single side exhaust tip by them as well. New tires, 20k miles. Clean title, 2 keys, comes with all original paperwork, books, and code card. We like to see it. Let's take a look. Ooh, we have the cockpit as the first image. That's kind of unique. Looks like we have anodized caps for the fork there. Lots of color-matched kind of gold accent little parts and bits here and there. These are just little grips and mirrors and ASV levers. ASV are really nice levers, so those aren't cheap Chinesium grade levers. We've got the kind of clip-on style here. I don't remember if these came stock with the clip-ons like that. The 1100 Monsters uses the same big, nasty 1100 cc air-cooled Desmo motor found in the Hypermotard 1100 from the same time period. Really sweet motor. So torque-rich, so characterful. It rips. It looks like this guy has put a new headlight on this bike, and it looks very modern and very fresh. I don't love the heat wrap on the exhaust right here, but we will forgive him for that. Beautiful looking brakes right there. You love the single-sided swing arm of the Ducatis, always so beautiful. The matte green is a nice touch. I don't remember if they came like that from factory. I don't think Ducati sold it in a matte green color back in 2009 from the factory, but this bike is very timeless. I mean, this is still good hardware on this machine to date. That's a good fork right there. I think that's the original Marzocchi fork that it came with. That's not Olin suspension or anything. Radio mount Brembos, that's good stuff right there. Looks to be in clean spec. The tires do look very nice. Very cinematic shot for the single-sided swing arm there. One thing to note, if you do get a bike with a single-sided swing arm, you're going to need a special rear stand for them, because you obviously can't do the spools or the little rubber tabs or anything. You need a special one that goes through. And you also need a special tool to remove that enormous bolt, or nut, rather. Typically, on Ducatis, I've seen they have it's like the 37-point star. This one looks just like a regular, 36 mil nut on there, so something to think about too if you're looking to get a single-sided swing arm bike. I love this guy's depth of field shots, all that stuff. Very, very cinematic, very photography kind of boy. We do this kind of stuff for Instagram. Honestly, what was this? $5,000? Clean listing for $5,000, man. He's got the title, 2 keys. This would be a great second bike for somebody. Very interesting, very unique. You don't see these with the big air-cooled Desmos anymore. And I'm a fan. This is starting off clean, starting off nice. We're not venturing into the wretched stuff just yet. Wanted to give you guys a nice palate cleanser to start it off. We gave this one a solid 8 out of 10. I think it's nice. The listing looks clean. I can't see any signs of damage on the bike. Looks to be cared by an adult human. Nice and clean. Moving on. All right, 1979 BMW R65 for $2,500. That's really not much money at all. I have this beautiful 1979 BMW R65 with low miles, always been garaged. 24,000 miles. Will need a battery and probably a tune-up, willing to trade for a 5x10 or a 12-foot utility trailer or small camper for a 6 to 6.5 foot truck bed. Let's take a look at the old Beamer here. Ooh, it's pretty clean for its age. 1979, we're coming up on, is that 45 years of age? 44 years, something like that? 46 years. There's math. So I do not know too much about the R65. BMW, ancient BMW, especially lore knowledge, has eluded me for all these years. But from what we can tell here, let's take a look. Nice, clean motor. We don't see too much over here. One of the hallmarks of the BMWs that I've noticed, especially the older ones, is just like that. There's a very beautiful, simplistic mechanical purity to them. You know, the fact that there's one little coil going all the way to the head, just the exhaust pipe, the air intake right here. I mean, it's pretty unique in the way that it's packaged. The Boxer twin engine is a signature of these old BMWs and has been all the way till today. Back in the day, the reason they did this was to get more air onto the head of the motor and for ease of maintenance on the side of it, because if you want to do valve checks, it's the easiest thing in the world on these bikes. You don't have to do anything. You just pop it right off, start checking the valves. But I do firmly believe, and I know a lot of BMW people get mad at me when I say this, that this engine design is archaic and really shouldn't exist, and that's why you haven't really seen any major manufacturer have a Boxer twin like this. It's like BMW's quirky hallmark that they do. And it's why I say that the BMW GS is a heritage motorcycle, because it uses an old school engine design that fundamentally doesn't need to exist. But I like the red pinstriping. I think the leather seat looks great. This just has a really classic vibe about it. So one thing I want to point out, I say this to you guys all the time about the location in which the bike is in. That's very important for the listings. Look at this picturesque scenery in the back here. Very well-kept home. Lots of care taken for it. Look at this photo of the motorcycle in the garage. Look how clean this garage is. Look how the tools are organized. Look how everything's in its right place. The person who listed this also said that it was always garage, so this may be original owner on this R65. It also might be why they're putting it up for $2,500 and not $8,000 or whatever, retro BMW people are trying to post it up for. But it's very charming, right? I mean, it's like hanging out at the farm. It's in the garage. It's got some glamour shots to it. It's just a very cool time capsule motorcycle. And for $2,500, if all it really needs is a battery and a tune-up, that's not much on one of these. You could just get that done in a weekend probably. Again, I don't have too much knowledge of what it would take to get this thing running right. I don't know much about the BMW Boxers, don't know much about the mysterious carbs that they have. So if it's a project you want to take on, you're an old school BMW guy, certainly take it on. This one looks to be in very clean spec. Moving on, 2007 Suzuki V-Strom DL1000, $3,500, a good deal here. 2007 Suzuki V-Strom DL1000, mileage 26,441. That's really not too much for a V-Strom. Luggage, side and top cases, that's nice. 2 sets of keys, extended windscreen, center stand, heated grips, built-in USB-A and C charging ports, crash bars, handguards, aftermarket AS3 Performance aluminum bash guard, hydraulic clutch, new chain and sprocket at 22,000 miles. Shoo! That's a pretty sweet bike. Let's take a look. Whoa, baby! It's clean! Wow, that's clean. Man, I love to see just a great, clean motorcycle listed for sale, man. Look at this thing. $3,500 gets it done. Gets you out there sport touring on the V-Strom. So, check it out. Center stand makes this very easy to maintain and service. That's a big thing with a bike you're going to be doing a lot of miles on. Oil changes become a breeze. You just put it up on the center stand, get it done. You might have to get this bash plate off to get that done. One of the hallmarks of mid-2000s bikes are the tri-spoked wheels. You see here in the front, the tri-spoking on the wheels. That was something that a lot of Japanese manufacturers had in the early to mid-2000s. This gorgeous blue color that the Suzuki has, this is a few shades darker than the blue that I have on my Daytona currently, and I just think it's a really fun electric blue color. I think the 370Z from Nissan also had a similar color to this when it debuted. The GV boxes are nice, man. Let's see if we get a close-up on those. Yeah, look at these. Never dropped, no scratches. This bike is clean, dude, for the mileage. This bike is super clean. Someone really took care of this, really garage kept it. And I want to point you out, this bike is in some sort of large shop. So again, whoever owned this, clearly an enthusiast, clearly cared about their machine. Look how, even this, look how clean this is. The indicators, clean gauge cluster over here, a little bit of wear and tear, right? But it's, how old is this bike? This was from 2008, he said? 2007. So this motorcycle is 18 years old, right? So that's not nothing, But well kept, well maintained. These also have the 1000 engine. This is a V-twin from the, I want to say the TL1000 or the Suzuki SV1000. I believe that was that same larger displacement V-twin mill that found its way in a lot of different Suzuki motorcycles. That was back when they had the SV650 and the SV1000. So this is clearly sharing that larger V-twin platform, which is great. That's a torque-rich engine, super fun to ride, very reliable. I would wager that you could probably put another 20,000 miles and enjoy this bike, no problems. From the front, does look a little bit dated, does look a little bit super scooter-esque, but you know what, dude? For $3,500, this is a lot of motorcycle, man. Look at all the space you get in the back, the reliability, the ease of riding, the heated grips, the center stand, the bash plates. Dude, this is a fantastic do anything, go anywhere machine. Very, very interesting listing. Now, one thing I can't tell is if it actually has a larger cast rim up front or if it does roll on 17s. It looks to be a larger than 17 up front. To my eye from this photo, looks to be maybe an 18 or 19-inch wheel up front that's still cast. So tubeless wheels, traditional construction for the tire. So if you do get a flat while you're out riding on this bike, you could easily fix it on the side of the road. Just patch it up and keep going. Very cool listing. Very into this one. You guys know I love a super clean mid-2000s Japanese bike. These are the bikes I tell you guys to look out for, man. $3,500 gets you a fantastic sport touring bike. So I'm going to rate this one a solid 8.5 out of 10 and keep it moving. All right, 2015 Aprilia Dorsoduro, $5,000. This is a 750 with 4,000 miles on the clock, one owner, new tires at 300 miles, recent service, never dropped, no rain, short levers, a Kropovich exhaust. Super fun, clean bike. So, the Dorsoduro, baby. This is Aprilia's answer to the Hypermotard from Ducati. So, you will note a 750cc V-twin motor inside of this motorcycle. The frame looks very eerily similar to the steel trellis utilized by Ducati. These motorcycles kind of, in my opinion, went on for a little too long. This style of bike was very big with like the Husqvarna Nuda 900, the Ducati Hypermotards, the Dorsoduros. Like these were all motorcycles that definitely fit that late 2000s big multi-cylinder, almost supermoto-esque motorcycle. So you see the kind of front lip, the dirt bike lip that it has, the street aggressive styling that it has. I bet you this thing is a ton of fun to ride, but I'll tell you what, I don't know about the reliability on the Dorsoduros. I think that these suffered from a few reliability issues. Pretty sweet that this is a single owner bike. What's he running on? Rosso 2s, Rosso 3s? I recognize this this tire pattern right here. With the Kropovich exhaust, I bet this thing sounds wicked. And I bet it's a lot of fun, too. One thing to note, this is not going to be a long-distance motorcycle. I wouldn't recommend this bike for longer stints. There's a couple reasons. Number one, it's probably going to throw out quite a bit of heat, being an Aprilia and being an Italian motorcycle. Number two, check out that banana seat. Doesn't look very comfortable. No wind protection. So this is definitely a bop around town, have fun with the kind of bike. Now, I do wonder, because this motorcycle only has about 4,000 miles on the clock, it's 10 years old at this point. I don't know what kind of service it's going to be up for. And I don't know about the service intervals on this mill specifically. But still a really sweet bike. Still a really good buy, in my opinion. Because this guy, I think, only wants $5,000 for it, right? I mean, $5,000. You could do a lot of damage with this one. Have a lot of fun with it, for sure. This bike would happily do a lot of wheelies. Have you a lot of fun. Get you that hypermotard feeling that Ducati can give you as well. I bet you it handles really crisp and fresh, more so than you might think for a 10-year-old motorcycle. And yeah, these are a ton of fun. One bike that has eluded me for a ride and review. We haven't done one of these ever, so this is a bike that I think we should certainly get in the shop at some point and see if somebody has a Dorsoduro that we could do a review on. That would be a lot of fun. So I'm going to rate this one. I mean, it's supremely clean, and that goes without saying. I mean, look at the sides, look at the engine, look at this was clearly garage kept, owned by a good human. Someone really took care of this thing, so it's pretty wickedly in good shape. So this one I'm going to rate another 8 out of 10 and keep it moving. Producer Logan, where are the wretched bikes? Let's see if we can find them. We've entered the land of the Delulu. That's delusional. That's Gen Z speak for delusional for all of you out there. Something I picked up. Yamaha XSR700, $8,495. What are we talking about? That's like bordering on, I mean, that's brand new pricing for an MT-07. We have an emojis list here, all the modifications that no one cares that much about. Olin's fork springs with adjustable dampeners. Imported Öhlins Black Series rear adjustable shock. So this guy did Öhlins front and rear. Rizoma rear integrated turn signals. That doesn't add value. The suspension adds a little bit of value. The headlight no one cares about. Custom exhaust. The tune by Two Wheel Dyno Works. So I don't mind when people do a lot of the modifications listing, but you got to give the base specs of the bike. You got to give mileage. You got to give story. Do you have clear title in hand? What's the, 2 keys, manual, like just the important stuff. I don't care about the mods as much. Let's take a look at the machine. It's a clean looking XSR, right? And for those of you who don't know, the Yamaha XSR700 is the neo-retro cafe concept that Yamaha is doing with the MT-07. So this is a second generation MT-07 that Yamaha switched up a little bit to create for the XSR700. So you see it features this flat seat, this minimal aesthetic, the little rubber accordion style on the fork over here, but all the hardware, everything is MT-07. Basically from gas tank down, this is all MT-07. CP2 motor, same swing arm from that generation MT-07, same suspension, same geometry, which means it's still that kind of wonky handling bike that it always was. And this guy wanting $84.95 for it, that's brand new MT-07 money, basically. I don't think anyone's going to spend $84.95 for a 7-year-old XSR700 that has lots of mods done to it, despite how clean it is. And it is very clean. We do have to give it up. But the fact is, it's a used motorcycle, man. There's really nothing you can do about the fact that it's a used bike, and it is what it is. And I don't know why every XSR700 guy is like this, right? With the leather gloves and the Ugly Bros jeans and the quilted grips. And it's just like the XSR guys are all about the vibe, man. They're all about the vibe. They're all kind of like, yeah, bro, like I gotta keep it custom, gotta do the farkles, gotta do this, gotta do that. And again, it's a cool looking bike, man. It's a really cool looking bike, and it's a bike that I think that a lot of normies would look at and think, oh yeah, that's a sweet ride. Because I'll tell you what, normal people who don't ride motorcycles, they think that the vast majority of bikes look weird. My wife always tells me how my Touareg 660 looks ugly and stupid. She never misses a chance to tell me that it's a big, dumb ADV bike. And I'm like, okay, cool. And she's like, your Scrambler's your best looking bike. I love your Scrambler. I'm like, okay, we get it. We get it. You have entry level taste. We get it, okay? And so the XSR does away with that. You can have the MT-07 experience without it being like, the insect bug, weird little naked bike look. It gives it more of a classic retro charm. Yeah, this guy's delusional thinking $84.95. This is a $6,800 motorcycle because it's 7 years old. So, moving on. 2009 Triumph Speed Triple, $5,500. This was a good vintage of the Speed Triple. 11,423 miles. Thank you. Great condition. Runs like a champ. 1,500 miles on the new Pilot 2C2 tires. Replaced fuel pump and stator, which are known as regular fail points. Very nice to tell us, because I was actually going to bring that up about the fuel pump and the stator on these. Tail tied in LED reed turn signals with updated flashers so they blink correctly. Titanium Aero Shorty exhaust. Mirror extenders. Has all the original parts and passenger pegs. Very nice. Comes with tank bags and other small accessories. Life changes. I've got 2 babies and no time to ride. I hate to hear it, man. I hate to hear it, but I love to see it. So, the big dog, the Triumph Speed Triple. So, Speed Triple debuted in the early 90s. It was one of the first proper, Street Fighter style motorcycle, similar to the Ducati Monster. Triumph saw that people were taking the fairings off of their sport bikes and putting the headlights and stuff. So, it's got the signature round headlights on it right here, the twin up at the front. And then, I always thought that the frame on the Triumph Speed Triple was so interesting. It has this double-barreled steel trellis-looking frame, but I believe it's aluminum. And then this really beefy swing arm pivot point back here. It handles much better than you would imagine, but it's a beefcake of a bike. Single-sided swing arm, which is sick. Absolutely beefcake triple-cylinder motor. This is the 1050 engine. This was before they went 1200. They ran this 1050 for a long time. This Speed Triple ran pretty unchanged. Gosh, I want to say until 2021 or something like that. They had a small update, I think, in the middle there somewhere, but this was a bike that kind of languished until they got the 1200 really sorted. And they just did an update to that bike again, too. But this bike has very modern hardware, very modern geometry, despite the fact that this is a 2009. I mean, you guys can see, like I said, it's really fat and heavy. I think this bike weighs like 480 or 490 pounds, if memory serves me correctly. But it's got a beefcake of a triple. The 1050 is a monster engine. The new 1200 is even more monstrous, but this one is properly beefy. And yeah, I think the side profile looks great. It looks awesome. It's aged very well. For $5,500, I mean, fair-ish. It's on newer tires. It looks really cool. It's got a classic aesthetic to it. I'm a big fan of the classic Triumph lettering on the black tank there. Just looks really nice. And I don't know. I think I could do it. $5,500 for it's pretty decent. You always want to talk him down a little bit, maybe $5,000 out the door. I mean, I feel sad the guy's got 2 kids and he wants to give up on riding, but you know what? That's his life, that's his journey, and his pain can be your gain, baby. Just came up with that one on the fly. So we're going to give this one, I think, a 7.5 out of 10. Keep it moving. All right, here's an oddball one. 2000 Italjet Formula 50, $2,000. 5,000 miles, liquid-cooled scooter imported from Italy and one of a handful in the country. Equipped with Malossi 72cc cylinder, Malossi Art of Performance exhaust, and Polini CP21 carburetor, runs great and tops out at 60 miles an hour. I want to point that out to you guys. A 2-stroke 72cc little scooter going 60 miles an hour? Wild. Very smooth front single-side swing arm suspension, front and rear disc brakes, new Michelin tires, clean title, not interested in trade. $2,000. Whoa! Look at this little rocket ship. Every time I see a zooted out, hopped up little 2-stroke scooter, I just always think of Valentino Rossi in the pits in the early 2000s, just doing wheelies on the little 2-stroke scooters. These are a phenomenon in Europe. People love these crazy little 2-stroke scooters. Look at the front end on this thing. Single-sided swing arm front end. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that on a scooter. Oh, look at the performance 2-stroke scoot exhaust, baby. Look at that. I would love to take one of these for a rip, man. I would. 60 miles an hour? Are you kidding me? On this thing? Look at that. Lord knows I don't even know how this is set up or what is going on. What benefit does this provide? I have no idea. I've never seen one of these before. I've never seen an Italjet with a front single-sided swing arm. So if anybody in the comments knows about this or has seen one before, please let me know, because this is a totally new situation for me on this one. So this is from 2000. Honestly, it's aged reasonably well. It has kind of like a crazy wasp-like look to it, doesn't it? Kind of an insect bug look, but that was very big in that time. So, classic 2-stroke little scooter. Could be your bag, could not be your bag. Who knows? All I know is that I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. Actually, no. Let's bump it up. 8 out of 10. Let's keep it moving. Alrighty, a 2006 Honda CRF 450X for $4,500. It looks to be a super moto. He's been converted for a few years, city commuting, still has the dirt wheels if you wanted to turn it back into a dual sport. I don't think the CRF 250 or 450X was a dual sport. I think it was an enduro bike with a headlight. Lots of mods on here. He seems to have done the LED lights front and rear. He's got the 17-wheel from XL, which is nice. Steering stabilizer, which is a mod you definitely want to do on these if you're going to be doing higher speeds with it, or setting wheelies down kind of funky. Let's take a look at it, shall we? You know, it's fascinating to me that a 19-year-old dirt bike looks a lot like a brand new dirt bike. I don't really think that these have changed too much in the past 19 years or so. I mean, I'm sure some of the comments is not going to be like, you're crazy, of course they've done all these updates and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but I'm looking at it, and I see a beefy aluminum frame that's holding a tiny little crazy short-stroke 450cc motor. This does have a kickstand, which is nice, so it's not super race spec, but they didn't make the 450 as a dual sport. I think they made the 450 as an enduro racer because it's the X, not the R. I think the Rs were motocross bikes. So this one might have a wider ratio transmission, if memory serves me correctly, because motocross bikes top out at like 50 miles an hour. And so perhaps on this enduro-oriented model has a wider ratio, and he might have changed it up with the sprockets in the back too. So something to look at and think about too on a supermoto. We see here that the gentleman has done a pretty clean supermoto conversion on this one, man. This is certainly not a bike that looks super wretched in any way. It actually looks really clean for a 19-year-old sumo. You know, you'd want to check for the traditional wear and tear and that type of thing. But all in all, it looks to be a fun, well set up little supermoto. The 450 is going to have a ton of freaking power and snap. It's going to weigh nothing. I mean, those weigh like 225, 230 pounds. So it's going to have a ridiculous amount of snap to it. So something to think about if you're considering getting one of these. They're going to be powerful. They're going to be snappy. And you are not going to want to, you know, grab one of these as a beginner. So this one, very clean. Good sumo. We're going to rate it a nice 7.5 out of 10. Let's keep it moving. All right, and now we have a 2002 Suzuki Hayabusa for $6,500. 2002 Suzuki Hayabusa, 15,900 miles. He's got the title in hand, brand new fairings, less than 100 miles on them. I don't think anyone ever says the mileage on fairings. New brakes, new air filter, new oil and filter, new tires, less than 250 miles, brand new clutch, new cam chain, tensioner, guides, head gasket, camshaft position sensor, injectors, fuel pump and fuel pressure regulator, valves freshly shimmed to aftermarket Yoshimura cams, full titanium limited edition Yoshimura R22 exhaust, Rix regulator rectifier, and Electro Sport stator. 4-inch extension on the swing arm, integrated ECU fuel mapping tuned by Two Wheel Dynoworks with receipt. Runs perfectly, no issues, will run to 200 plus miles an hour easily. Honestly, it's gorgeous. If you're gonna do a freaking Busa, do a Busa like this one, boys. This is a beautiful street spec setup Busa. It's got a slight stretch to it. It's ready to rip. They did all the Go Fast Boy mods on him, and he said it'll do 200 plus easy. And honestly, I believe him. I think that this bike will definitely do over 200, and with that slight stretch, you're gonna be nice and comfortable going fast as tits, baby. Here's the thing, right? It's a 2002 Busa. I don't know how long this gentleman owned it for. It's a 23-year-old motorcycle. Wants $6,500 for it. I'll tell you this. In 2020, I paid $6,300 for my Busa, and it was not as nice as this one. So honestly, it's pretty sweet to see this one is in pretty good condition, pretty good spec, nice and clean, has proper Go Fast mods on it, and honestly, doesn't have any of the Busa boy nonsense on it, right? You don't see stupid skulls and spiky things and whatever the hell else. This is just a clean Busa. So, honestly, $6,500 for an absolute piss missile? Sold, baby. Sold. Buy this, go rip it on the highway, have some fun, try not to die, enjoy it. Why not? It's a good deal. Tons of mods and seems to be running right. Pretty sweet that he says that it's running perfectly. It's something you certainly want to verify in a 23-year-old Busa that was clearly highway roll raced. But again, plenty fast, plenty fun. If you're about that Busa life, this is one that you certainly wouldn't want to miss out on. So this one, we're going to finish it off strong. I rated it a 9 out of 10. All right, boys, thanks so much for checking out today's video. I truly do appreciate it. We will catch you in the next one. See you later.
Ah, you've made it to the end of another Yami Noob video. Aren't you just a special little cookie? Aren't you just something so great? Aren't you just, look at you, you're just so freaking cute. Why don't you go ahead and click on the next video? Why don't you go ahead, listen, hey, I'm just kidding around. Hey, listen to me. Click on the video.